Welcome, my artistic friends of the interwebs. Today is a very special day. This work of art is getting a little varnish on it. Now, I know there's a big debate today about whether you should or should not varnish your paintings. But first, let me tell you, I'm using GAMVAR gloss. They do not pay me. They don't even know who the hell I am. But this is something I've had a lot of success with. I've used other products. You know, I always go back to this. I did try the satin. I wasn't a huge fan of the satin. The satin was very streaky. That's just the truth. Although I reserve the right to use satin again sometimes, maybe not on such a big painting. So this is 48 by 60. It is acrylic on stretched canvas. And we're going to go ahead. By the way, the reason that I have chose, it's all a personal preference thing, but the reason that I have chose to varnish this painting is because there are some spots that are flat or dull, and some that are shiny. And I kind of like the shiny effect, to be completely honest. And it just is, it's part of the process of painting. Sometimes, depending on a lot of factors, you're going to get parts of the painting that are duller and parts that are shinier. And if you want a more uniformed look, you kind of got to go with, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, you got to go with the varnish. You just have to. So some people are intimidated by varnish because, you know, you put so much work, time, energy, and money into making a piece of art. And a lot of people are just worried that you're going to screw it up, or they could screw it up, kind of like stumbling right before the end zone and fumbling the football. But let me tell you something, honestly, this GAMVAR stuff, they make a product that will remove it. So if you really felt like, oh my God, I just made a complete mess out of this painting, I think it's called Gambasol. You can buy that, and it's actually, I've seen it on video, I've never had to do it, but you can actually use it to take off the varnish. So it doesn't affect the painting in a negative way. In fact, most restorers that are restoring paintings, they've removed the varnish, and with the varnish coming off comes off the years of cigarette smoke and environmental hazards and all that stuff, which is another reason to varnish. Although there are two schools of thought, and I have had paintings where I'm like, you know, I'm not going to varnish it. Anyway, let's get to it. So the rule of thumb is a little goes a long way. Now, I'm not going to take you through this whole thing because it's going to take a lot of time for me to do. But I'll at least get you started. A little goes a long way. I'm using a Fine Touch number 2. You can get these at Hobby Lobby. And I use the same brush every time I varnish. Every time, same brush. Now you want to get some of the excess off of your brush. And look for little hairs too, because it can be kind of tricky. Hang on a second. It can be kind of tricky because these hairs will come off, and what you don't want is you don't want a piece of your brush to be in your painting, because trust me, once it's hanging on the wall, everybody's eyes will immediately go to that. Just the truth. So here's what I do. Now there's a bunch of different methods. Seriously, I would recommend before you start varnishing to take kind of a look at all of them. But what I do is I usually start in a corner. I usually get reference points. Like I want to do half of this painting this way and then go to that side. And I reserve the right then to come this way, you know. But so I know that for the most part that is halfway. I feel pretty comfortable that I can reach that with this brush without straining and without touching this, which will already been done. Now I could, I guess, come this way, but I'm not going to do that because I'm just not. By the way, before I start this, if you've not subscribed, please do. And also really appreciate it if you would share this with your artist friends. So anyway, I start a corner and I just do this. By the way, this is a technique that I went to GAMVAR's website, and they actually had a video on how to apply this. And this is what the guy was doing. It was kind of like pushing it in, I guess is one way to put it. Now you're going to be able to tell where you varnished because it's going to have a totally different look. Now, I'm not sure how much of that you can see from there, so what I might do is move. Now, a lot of times I'll do this, just kind of even it out. But I might move the camera, or not, maybe not. I don't know. Doing this with my phone, because I'm all kinds of high tech. And then as I'm going here, I also use reference points, okay, so I know I went up to a certain point. Now, yes, you can still see the varnish, so maybe that's not as important, but sometimes it can be a little tricky. You want to put it on, the rule of thumb is thin. Thin, 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 thin. Now, the GAMVAR video did not show the guy doing this. This is my variation of his technique, so keep that in mind. Try to be super meticulous, especially if you're only going to do one pass. And the reason I say that is because you're going to kick yourself if you miss just a little spot, let's say the size of a dime, because eventually you'll see that, and that'll drive you crazy. So your best bet is just to make sure you do a thorough job of covering everything right out of the gate. Now I've seen a guy, which is crazy, although I did try it once just for shits and grins, who just dumped the GAMVAR on the canvas, and then he had like a sponge brush, and he just started sponging that big lot of GAMVAR, and I was just like, oh my god. You know, I don't know that I would do that. In fact, in the spirit of honesty, just in case I end up putting that video up, I did try that on a much smaller test painting, and it didn't really work out too good. There was a lot of streaks. There was just, I don't know. The theory is that if you put a lot on, it will self-level itself, and then be I don't know, be better, I guess, in some way. I don't know. I don't know that I subscribe to that concept, but I do not pretend to be an expert on anything. But I will say this. I know it can be really super intimidating to put varnish on a painting, but trust me on this. Just go for it. Unless you don't like the look of varnish, then don't go for it. So hopefully 50 years from now, long after I'm dead, some museum curator, or excuse me, some museum, what do they call themselves? My brain just shut down on me. Restorer will be removing what I'm putting on right now and reapplying with whatever technology they have then, which I'm sure will be much better than what we have now, theoretically. All right, listen, that's all I got. I'm not going to keep going with this. It'll be torturous for you guys. You get the principle, you get the idea. Give it a try. Let me know how it works out for you. If you have a different method of varnishing and you have a video demonstrating that, please link me to it. I would love to see it. I'm always changing things up, trying different things, so I'm totally cool with that. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Share, like.